Hello, my name is Verity Paz and I've been working in fertility for 15 years. I'm a fertility coach, fertility reflexologist and clinical hypnotherapist. In that 15-year period, I have helped hundreds of couples to conceive. And one of the worst parts of my job is when somebody experiences a miscarriage. And unfortunately, 1 in 4 pregnancies are said to miscarry. And obviously that's the ones that we know about. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today and what you should do if you've had 1 or more miscarriages and what could possibly be the reason for a miscarriage. So let's start with that. I experienced a number of miscarriages and they are absolutely devastating. And I always say to couples, it doesn't matter whether you were pregnant for 1 week or 3 weeks or 12 weeks or 20 weeks, you were so excited to bring a baby into your family and you imagined what that would look like for however long you were pregnant for. And it's really devastating when that is ripped away from you. And unfortunately, there's not much help out there. If you have to have 3 miscarriages generally, unless you've got a really nice GP, you have to have 3 before any additional testing is going to be done. So what do you do in that situation? Let's talk about things that could cause a miscarriage, because I see a lot of people coming into the clinic and they absolutely, particularly women, blame themselves for the reason they've miscarried. Oh, I had 2 glasses of wine and I didn't know I was pregnant, or I'm really, really stressed, or I went for a run. None of those things are going to cause you to miscarry. If there's a really strong pregnancy there, it will stay there. Our bodies are really clever as women. And actually, our bodies recognise in a huge amount of time that if there is an embryo that is not correct, then our body will get rid of that embryo. So that's firstly. So and that is egg quality or sperm quality. So if the egg quality is compromised and the sperm quality is compromised, then that can cause a miscarriage. If there's any chromosomal issues, that can cause a miscarriage. And our bodies make a huge amount of cell mistakes every single day with all of our cells. So, and generally women's bodies are quite clever. They choose the sperm, so they are looking for a good sperm. So that's definitely something that you need to consider. So if, as the guy in the partnership, if your lifestyle's quite bad and you're drinking and smoking, then that can absolutely compromise your sperm. And if you are the girl in the relationship and you're doing the same thing, that can compromise your egg quality. So cleaning up your diet's always a really good idea if you have experienced 1 or more miscarriages. So also another issue for miscarriage can be low progesterone. So progesterone is the hormone that sustains a pregnancy. So if your body is lacking in that hormone, then you will be more likely to miscarry. So if there is a progesterone issue there, I would always recommend testing your progesterone levels. If you've had 1 or more miscarriages, maybe asking your GP to test your progesterone levels when you're pregnant again to make sure that they are high enough. Unfortunately, you have to have 3 miscarriages before you're given progesterone suppositories in early pregnancy, but there are lots of foods that you can eat that really help with progesterone. So some of the things that help with progesterone is getting really good sleep. Progesterone does not like not having a good sleep. So especially in the second part of your cycle, having adequate sleep is really important. Eating progesterone-rich foods, avocado and Brazil nuts are probably my favourite. So try and incorporate them into your diet in the second part of your cycle. That's really important. And I know it's really hard when you're trying for a baby and you've just had a miscarriage. The craziest one is keeping stress levels low. So anything you can do to keep your stress levels low. Acupuncture and reflexology. I'm a reflexologist. I would not have had my children if I did not take a holistic approach. I absolutely know that because I was diagnosed with two things that would have stopped me having a child. And I had a child because I looked at a holistic approach, and that is reflexology and acupuncture. So they can be really helpful at balancing your hormones and bringing those progesterone levels up. So if you've experienced miscarriages, then certainly look at an alternative to just a medical approach. Because quite often people have lots of miscarriages and will go and have IVF and then will miscarry again. So it's important to perhaps look at why a miscarriage has happened. And then my top tip here, if you've had one or more miscarriages, particularly if they've been early on in your fertility journey, please, please, please ask for a sperm test. That is key. Ask for a sperm test. It takes 2 people to make a baby, and it's generally the female that gets all of the tests. So if you've had one or more miscarriages, ask to have a sperm test and check that sperm is not compromised. So they would be my absolute top tips if you've had a miscarriage. I am always here to help you. If you want to book in for fertility coaching and you've had a number of miscarriages or even one miscarriage, there's lots of things that we can do to help you holistically and things that you can do to help yourself. But obviously, the other thing I was going to say is sign up to our newsletter, because there's loads of information on there, and our other channels are really useful as well. So for example, on TikTok, you'll find so many short clips from me of loads of top tips that you can help on your fertility journey.